These are the Bandit's curved swords. They're capable of some of the highest damage in all of Elden Ring. To get our 2 Bandit's curved swords, we'll need to farm for them. They're dropped from the skeletal bandits you see all throughout the game, but the fastest way to farm for them is from the Church of Pilgrimage in the north of Weeping Peninsula. Just to the left of the church are 2 bandits you can quickly farm for our weapon. And then we'll need a seal to cast our buffs. You can use any seal you want, but I'll be using the finger seal as it's easily obtained from the twins at the round table for 800 rooms. We also need to get our hands on the Seppuku Ash of War. We'll be applying this to both swords to trigger multiple damage buffs in the build, while also increasing our bleed buildup and overall physical damage. You can get it from an invisible Skero found on the frozen lake in the mountaintops of the Giant. These are the stats I'd recommend you run with this build. Now onto armor. Use the white mask for our helmet. This will boost our damage by 10% for 20 seconds whenever we inflict bleed on an enemy. You can get this mask as a reward for defeating Vari at the end of his quest line, which can be found in Morgwain's palace. The chest piece, we're going to be using the Gravebird's Black Quill armor. This will increase the damage of our jump attacks by 10%. You can find it in the Rao base area of the DLC, just north of the Templetown ruins. For the rest of the armor, use Rakshas's gauntlets and Gree by 4%, but will also increase our damage taken by 4%. They're also a DLC exclusive set, which can be obtained after defeating Rakshasa in the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum. For the talismans, I'd recommend the Claw Talisman to begin with. This will further boost our jump attack damage by 15%. It can be found very early into the game on top of a watchtower in Stormveil Castle. The next talisman I'd recommend is the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. This will boost our damage output by 20% for 20 seconds whenever we inflict bleed. You'll find this talisman in the Leyndell Catacombs after defeating Esgar, Priest of Blood. Additionally, use Millicent's Prosthesis for our 3rd talisman. This talisman increases our dexterity by 5 stat points and also raises our attack power with successive attacks by 11%. It's rewarded for completing Millicent's questline in the Halictree. And for our final talisman, use either the Rotten Winged Sword insignia or the regular Winged Sword insignia. The Rotten Winged Sword insignia is another reward from Millicent's questline and increases our successive attack damage by 13%. And for buffs, use Golden Vow. This will increase our attack power by 15% and our damage negation by 10%. You can get it from the Corpse Stench Shack in Mount Gelmir. And finally, we'll also be using Flame Grant Me Strength to buff the build even further. This incantation increases both our physical and fire damage, giving us a noticeable boost to the raw damage of our attacks. It can be picked up from behind Fort Gale in Caelid. On to the physic buffs now. We'll be using the Blood-Sucking Cracked tier alongside the Thorny Cracked tier. The Blood-Sucking Cracked tier gives us a 20% boost to our overall attack power, although it does slowly drain our HP. Meanwhile, the Thorny Cracked tier will increase our successive attack damage by 20%.
Game.
But before you take this build into a boss fight, make sure to follow this buffing routine, which is what makes the damage in this build so ridiculous. And that's it for this build. If you try it out, let me know what you think of it.